Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Flyers news and rumors here at the Hockey Writers. As always, I'm joined by Justin Giampietro. Justin, how's it going? We got the Flyers are doing decent again here. How's it going?
Yeah, they're still doing decent. They occupy a playoff spot, I believe, still even after their loss to Colorado. It was a tight game. Uh, they were coming off a back-to-back, and with Wedgwood hurt, they had to play Blackwood both games. So it was kind of an unideal situation for Colorado, but they still get it done. They are that good. I don't think anybody expected the Flyers to win that game, but they were competitive. I guess you take your wins where you can get them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the Flyers are still doing pretty well. The wagon hasn't fallen off yet, so we'll see if it stays.
Yeah, they did play. I guess as you're watching this yesterday,
Hmm.
and they lost to the wagon that is the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, they're just the Avalanche just can't lose. It seems they're still on, I believe, still on one regulation loss, which is just insane. So I mean, of course, the Flyers lose. It's not like they've lost to a team that most teams are losing to right now. Oh, they have two regulation losses, but still, they're 21, 2-6. So I mean, that's a ridiculously good team, and they've just lost by one goal, so it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, doing pretty well still. All right, well, let's talk about maybe a trade coming up. We did talk about this on our last video, and that is Quinn Hughes potentially getting traded at some point, either this season or next season or whatever. And the Flyers, of course, have come into that conversation because, I mean, his previous head coach is now the coach of the Flyers. And, I mean, Hughes has had his best years with Tocchet. Of course, he's had pretty much good seasons ever since he became part of the NHL, so it's not like it's just been with Tocchet. But you did write in the news and rumors that envisioning a future with him, potentially acquiring him. What do you think could it take to get him, if that is a possibility?
Well, I know you're tired of it at this point, the Quinn Hughes drama. I wouldn't want to be on the other end of it. I mean, the Flyers kind of were with Giroux, however many years ago. It's not fun, but um, as for a trade, it's really tough when you're talking about this good of a player. They don't get traded very often,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I don't think the Flyers would let Michkov or Martone go. Those are kind of your franchise guys. Those are the guys you're trying to build around. And I don't think you would trade a 20-year-old Michkov or a 19-year-old Porter Martone for a even though Quinn Hughes is pretty young,
Mm-hmm.
he's played in the league for a decent amount, and it doesn't really correlate with their contention window. So I don't think that they would do that. But the Canucks would lose the trade, I think, if
Yeah.
one of those players isn't in it. So it's really tough to make a mock trade. I'm not even gonna try, but the Flyers have assets on the table. They have a bunch of draft picks. They have a pretty decent prospect pool, even if you take out Martone. Um, they have some interesting younger-ish roster players. Owen Tippett has been in that conversation. The Flyers are not keen on trading him. Per Elliot Friedman, I believe, reported that. I don't know how true that is. I feel like if it's for Quinn Hughes, he'd probably be in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, they still have other players. Tyson Foerster is probably someone they want to keep. But again, for Quinn Hughes, I think maybe you would consider that. So there are a lot of players in kind of the mix here. Maybe not a supreme asset like maybe the Devils can offer. They have
Mm-hmm.
Nemetz, who was a number 2 draft pick. Those are hard to come by, and the Flyers don't really have something like that to offer. So again, mock trade, I won't try, but the Flyers are in the conversation for, the Rick Tocchet
Mm-hmm.
connection that you mentioned, and their window is, I would say, opening. Um, they are kind of exiting this rebuilding process, and Hughes can join this team on the up. That's kind of maybe one piece away, one franchise piece away from being a potential contender. And that's
Mhm.
kind of what I'm segueing into with envisioning a future with Quinn Hughes. Let's say he's traded to the Flyers next season. I know this is a crazy thing, but let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that he is traded here before the start of next season. I would imagine that they are at least a playoff team, considering what
Mhm.
they are this year. Of course, they could always fall off and miss the playoffs, or maybe even miss the playoffs badly. But at this point, I think they're going to be competitive this season. And if you add some like Hughes and Martone as well, he's going to almost definitely be on the Flyers next year. Um, and you add Michkov taking a few steps forward, that's going to be a good team, I think. And then you fast forward to 2027, 28, then maybe they're a true contender, and then
Mhm.
28, 29. So I really like the prospects of acquiring Hughes because it really fits what they're trying to do. Again, they're, to me, that one big piece away from really competing, when considering the fact that Michkov and Martone are only going to get better from here, I would think. So
Mhm.
it's very interesting. You can't guarantee that something like that's going to be on the table. But I mean, if Hughes is on the table, I think you try to get him as hard as you can, because
Mhm.
those are players that aren't very easy to come by, and they can really, really help your chances of ending this long, long cup drought.
I mean, the thing is, there's going to be every team phone, if they haven't already, phoned the Canucks saying, what would it take? Because the thing is, yeah, I mean, guys like Quinn Hughes usually they sign long-term with the team they're with, and they stay a long time. This is looking like it's trending towards that Hughes will leave, either via trade or via free agency, or one and then another. I mean, he might get traded to a team and be there for a year. I mean, I don't think any team acquiring him wants that. I mean, they're going to probably want an extension attached to anything, unless it's the Devils, because the Devils be like, well, he's going to sign with us anyway. It doesn't really matter. So I mean, I think that's the only team that might take him this season, without an extension attached to it, or next season, depending on how long this takes. But yeah, I do think the Flyers definitely would be in the conversation, saying, well, we have this head coach that seems to have a good connection with them. I think they do look into it for sure. All right, let's move to guys that are on the Flyers right now. And that's, I guess he's not right now because he's hurt. And we talked about the injury last week. He's out 2 to 3 months, which is, we said it might be a long-term thing, and it ended up being that. Can they recover from losing a guy like that? Because he was, like you said, pretty productive for them before he got hurt.
Yeah, he was on 39 goal pace before he got hurt. He scored a goal in that game that he was injured. He's been huge for the Flyers power play. At 5-on-5, he's been more defensively oriented, I would say. But if you gave him a chance to be a first line, more offensive player, I think he could have had, 65 plus points this season. He is that gifted offensively, but he's kind of played that more shutdown role. A lot of hockey alongside Noah Cates, who is a shutdown center. So this is a really important player for the Flyers. He's very versatile, and 2 to 3 months. That could be past the Olympic break,
Mm-hmm.
which, for all intents and purposes, that's like the rest of the regular season. Obviously, you have March and April in there, but that's a long time. Um, and losing a player like that is very tough. But the Flyers also have some wingers who are playing well right now. Michkov is playing well, I would say. Konechny is putting up points. Owen Tippett is doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Zegras, even though he's center wing, but he's been playing more on the wing, he's been playing well this entire season. So the Flyers have weapons, and that makes it easier to stomach the loss.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a very important player to your team. We'll see how it affects them. They did win without him 5-2 over Buffalo. They lost to Colorado, so 50-50. Sabres kind of at the bottom of the standings. Avs all the way at the top.
Yeah.
So you really can't judge it at this point. But we'll see what happens. He's a very fun player. I would say he's turning into more of a fun player, a guy who can really, really shoot the puck. So that's one of your best shooters, maybe your best shooter. Losing him for that long is tough, but we'll see what happens.
I don't think there's going to be any reactionary trade. I mean, you wouldn't think. I mean, there's the rumors with Kiefer Sherwood, of course, which was, I don't know if it was shut down, but on Saturday headlines said, well, the Canucks wanted Owen Tippett. They basically said, no, that's not happening. And you're trying to quiet the noise around Tippett right now. So it's like, it is something I think they might make a trade, but I don't know if it's going to be a big thing in reaction to this. So we'll see if they end up doing anything, or just hope that, like you said, some of the players that are already here can fill the hole. All right, looking at more injuries, and these are guys that potentially could be coming back. Rasmus Ristolainen practicing, that's a good sign for, and of course, Cam York being day-to-day is not bad either. These two guys are pretty important to the lineup as well.
Yeah, so Ristolainen has not played. I didn't know this until I looked it up. Ristolainen has not played since Tortorella was still the head coach. It has been that long since he's played in a game for the Flyers. So getting him back would be big. He would be a huge addition to the third pair. He can play up the lineup if he needs to. He's very good on the PK. The Flyers have managed well without him, but he is an important player to their team, and he might be trade bait considering how, they were doing well without him, like I said, and they have a lot of younger guys who might want to take that next step, a guy that we'll talk about in this last segment. But yeah, Ristolainen would be nice to get him back, especially with York out. He is day-to-day, but we all know that day-to-day doesn't always mean day-to-day. It might turn into week-to-week or month-to-month.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it'd be that bad. I didn't see the exact play that York got hurt. It was a mid-game injury against Buffalo. I think he got hit in the head, something like that. All we know is upper body injury, so we'll see what comes of it. But he missed the Avs game, and that was with, I think, a few days break between the last game they played. So day-to-day turns into a few days. So, we'll see if he's back next week, because losing a top pairing guy like that is pretty big. They do need him back as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, Ristolainen is an important player, and like I said, hasn't played this season yet, but was pretty good last season when he did play. So those two guys coming back would be big for the defense, which is, we've talked about it, not the strongest. So it's that would be something to really help in the future. All right. Well, you mentioned you didn't mention his name, but Oliver Bonk. I actually did mention him at the beginning, I believe. He made his AHL debut finally. So I mean, what'd you think about his debut there?
This was another guy that went from day to day to a lot longer than day to day. I believe he was injured in training camp, which was a while ago, and he's just now making his AHL debut, which is good. I will admit I didn't watch the full game yet. I plan to, but it was a win for the Phantoms. They won 3-2 in overtime. Alex Bump scored the goal. He's still playing well. Denver Barkey had a really nice assist today as we're recording. Bonk, I don't believe he was in the game. I looked at the lineup. He wasn't there, so I don't know what that's about. Maybe they're just kind of easing him into things. I mean, that would make a lot of sense considering how much time he missed. And he is a younger player. He's only 20 years old. He is a rookie AHL debut. So, this is a young kid who's just kind of easing into things. And he's got potential at the next level. Again, like as I kind of alluded to, he could compete for an NHL spot next season. Granted, with the missed time, that might be a little difficult because, again, he's almost 3 months behind at this point in terms of, where he should have started first game of the season for the Phantoms. That was a while ago at this point. So just got to make up for missed time. We'll see how he does this season, because you look at a guy like Denver Barkey. He's also 20 years old, same draft class in 2023. He looks like he can make the NHL next season, I think. I mean, arguably, might even be ready for the NHL this season. It just wouldn't make that much sense considering he's getting first line ice time and playing PK and power play. It just wouldn't make sense to force him into the NHL, into a bottom six, when he can excel with the Phantoms. Bonk, kind of probably a similar situation with the Phantoms this year, but next year maybe it might be good for him to be on a third pair. Like, we'll see what happens. He could compete for that if he has a strong camp, but we'll calm down now and say, just find your groove in the AHL. I think he can do it. He does have the pedigree. He's won a championship at the OHL level. So coming into the AHL with a lot of accomplishments and a lot of expectations, I would say.
Yeah, it's biggest thing is him, of course, staying healthy now that he's back. You never know, with, like you say, with the day-to-day turning into way longer, that it could creep back into it. I mean, that's happened with many players before. So hopefully that's something that's behind him, and you can just kind of, build on this AHL debut. And yeah, the biggest thing is getting his feet, steady in the AHL before he gets into the NHL lineup. And we'll see when that happens. So I will keep an eye on him with the Phantoms. All right. Well, that's another news and rumors in the books there. Make sure you're checking out everything at thehockeyrush.com. We got great articles from Justin and other Flyers writers as we continue through the season and see where the Flyers kind of stay in that playoff mix or fall out of it again. We'll see. But until our next one, make sure you're also subscribe to the Substack if you haven't already. And until our next video, we will see you next time.